So, all right. Well, I think our first guest has arrived. Let's see. Is this my Delco brother himself, Mike?
What's up, my friend?
What's going on, man? What are we eating tonight, buddy?
I'm going out to get some barbecue tonight after the conversation, and I'm really hungry. So.
Ooh, barbecue. I had a cheesesteak in your honor for you. So how about that?
Nice. You know what? We had cheesesteaks out here yesterday from a place called Philly's Best, and it's like modeled after Jim's on South Street, and it was great. Incredible.
That's awesome. Look at you. Living the life out there, man.
Yeah, something like that.
So, I mean, dude, like being friends with you on Facebook, you really get the inside look behind the scenes of, the no bullshit, real no frills look at like what it's like to be in a band in the music business in today's world. And I see this stuff and I cringe and I'm just like, oh. And I mean, you're very open with it. And at times it really seemed like you were kind of close to saying, you know what, like, screw it. It's not worth it anymore.
Yeah, dude, I quit Sunflower Dead about 57 times a day over the last year, I think. It just, it is like that. I think I just wrote something right now, like about an hour ago, like, in art today, especially music, you can go from elated to insulted within one conversation. And it's like, it's just such a pile of nonsense these days that you want to just say to hell with it, but, it's working out. Again, we signed that record deal, so we're going back out, and it is what it is. The gods won't let me quit.
Well, there you go. Well, I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, there's obviously a reason that you guys got a deal.
Yeah, there was one label that didn't think we sucked balls, so there you go. That's pretty much the reality of it. I mean, the music industry is not what it was, but we're kind of like this anomaly band, Sunflower Dead, that's been able to do a lot of stuff on our own and build up our own little thing, and we're just taking it to the next level, and we're lucky to do so and happy to do so. So.
Now, the one thing too, like I wondered, like being signed to the label. I mean, and again, going back to your posts and stuff, you're really adamant. Like this album, you guys wanted this album, or maybe it was just you that like really wanted this album on a label. Where your first two albums you guys did yourself. Like, why was it that this time around that you were adamant, like you guys wanted a label behind you?
It just grew to the point where there were certain things we couldn't do on our own, and we needed to partner with other people that really had had some money in the game, had an investment in it, so we could get done certain things that we didn't have time to do, and then open up some avenues and bridges that we needed opened up. I mean, that's really why why everybody does a business partnership. So that's really what it came down to. We did as much as we possibly could on our own, but I had no interest in putting out a third record on our own record label, even if we had signed a distribution deal and all that stuff. I didn't want to do it. I told the guys, I was like, I'm not doing it. I'll record the record. If nobody wants to put it out, screw it, And that wasn't the case. So obviously it's coming out in October, and I'm really excited about it actually.
That's awesome. Now the whole, I mean, you guys had the whole makeup thing, the whole image going, and that's all gone. Like, was that like before you guys even got hooked up with EMP, or was that like a mutual decision with the label, or?
No, in fact, when they signed us, they thought we still had the makeup. So I remember in our first meeting after we signed, they're like, so let's talk about things. And I was like, well, we're taking off the makeup. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, we're going to wear the makeup. They're like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. They were down. They were down with the record. So it wasn't an issue. But for us, it was something that I kind of started having feelings of wanting to do back in 2016 when we had just started touring our second record, and I was like, there's things about this that I love because I love theatrical bands and I loved what we were doing, but there's certain ways that it had turned certain things that had turned into that I wasn't 100% happy with, and I just really didn't feel after the touring cycle of the Weird album that we were getting certain respect that any band feels they should be shown. People were just looking at us, but some people were not hearing what we had to offer musically, and I was like, you know what, that's a bunch of bullshit to me. So I'm kind of over this, and I brought it up to the guys, and they were like, they wanted to write a more serious record, and we said, well, let's write the record, and then we'll make the final decision. And then when we kind of heard the record we wrote, we're like, yeah, the makeup's coming off. It doesn't need it. And there hasn't been any person that's heard the record that has disagreed with us. Now, there's some fans that are like, hey, how come you're taking it off? But they haven't heard the record yet. So,
right.
they don't really know what's in store. But anyone that's heard it on the inside is like, yeah, you don't need it. It doesn't, the music's going to speak for itself.
And you know what, like, with the last album, which is a freaking phenomenal album, it
right
fit
on.
though. Like with the whole, weird concept and all, like it fit with it. But now with the new album, I get it. Like I get the direction and all. Like I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and and the second album, literally everything about it, from the artwork to the title to where we took the look, all came from how much fun we were having on our first album touring it. And people were responding to us having fun, and we were getting weird, and that's where that whole thing started. So we just went with it on the second record, and we were happy to, and we had a great time. But, when you get into it, and, when you write a song called Dance with Death, and to me it's a metaphor, right? It's not, I'm not dancing with skeletons, you know what I'm saying, or dead people. But people are responding back saying, hey, you write horror movie lyrics about dancing with death and stuff. And I was going, no, you're missing the point. And so I figured, okay, well, I think obviously people are thinking that because, we're dressed up like zombies. They think it's like this whole horror stick. And I was like, all right, this is not what's going on here. So I was like, I'm going to reverse this. And on the new album, I just got rid of all the metaphor. And I just basically sang what I had to say. And, again, another reason why the makeup and the pomp and circumstance really isn't needed with the new album. And it's not really a diss because a couple fans asked me like, well, are you ashamed of what you did? And I'm like, hell no, I love the makeup. I absolutely love that stuff. And I also love where we are now because we're always kind of moving forward. Our first record was not the same as our second record, and our third record is not the same as either of them. It's just a constant keep turning the dial and stepping it up.
I hear you. I can't. You sent me over the the preview of the album. Was it like 2 months ago? I guess it was. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
This is gonna be fucking awesome. I was like, yeah, please let somebody sign this fucking band, please.
Yeah, and you got the unmastered version that only had 8 songs. There's actually going to be 9 or 10 songs on the record with some ones you haven't heard. So it's like, and it wasn't, again, record labels today, they only can sign so many bands, and put out so many bands each quarter. So unless we fit the mold of what they were looking for, it was like, we like you guys, or, we got passed on respectfully. We got told we suck balls. We got told everything, but, EMP seemed to be like the right label, growing at the right time, the same way we are. So we were like, this is a no-brainer. Let's do it. Right on.
Now, did you deal with Dave Ellefson and that directly, or?
Yeah, we deal with the main guy at the label's name is Tom Hazard. He basically runs everything, and he's Dave's partner. And then we deal with him and Dave. So Dave is on every single email. Like he wrote a nice little quote about us in the press release, and so he oversees everything. Tom's the day-to-day guy. We've actually known Tom Hazard, since we moved to California years and years ago, so he's known us forever. He actually helped launch Sunflower Dead when we first started. Like, he helped us get our first record out, and he helped us get our first national tour in 2012 when we started the band.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of cool that it came full circle, and he just ended up hooking up with Dave Ellefson, I don't know, a few years back, and they started this label, and it's been growing as we've been growing, and it's like, well, let's get together, and and we're excited. They seem to be excited, and everything that we've asked or whatever, has been no problem, and they've had ideas, and everything is on schedule completely. So there's no it wasn't hard to get a release date. It was all nice and smooth. And,
Right.
still at the end of the day, being signed or not, it's still up to us. As much as the label can do, we have to
Right.
we have to handle our business. So that part
Absolutely.
is not going to change.
Now, new label, new album in October, new image, and new band members as well.
Totally. Well, it's always me and Jabu. Jabu is from West Philadelphia, I'm from the suburbs of West Philly, so it's always us two. And then when we started Sunflower Dead, it was me, Jabu, and the other guitar player, Jamie Tesser, because it was always us three. We're the three that wrote this new record. But we lost our rhythm section while touring the last record. Both guys had to make very adult decisions, and they both did, and it was all good. It wasn't like we got in a big fight or something and they
Right.
quit. It was they were like, oh, we got to handle our business. We're like, cool. One guy did it cool, one guy didn't do it cool, but that's different. But at least it was, it had nothing to do with music. But we were left rhythm sectionless, so we wrote this entire record without a rhythm section. And on the record, it's Cordell Crockett from Ugly Kid Joe playing bass, and a Philly guy named Chris Hamilton he was in Downset and Blood Simple. He actually is the guy that did our last tour that you saw us with.
Yeah.
That drummer.
That's what I thought.
So he recorded the tracks on the record, and then, but while we were doing the record, we were looking for a rhythm section, and they just kind of fell into our lap, and we ended up with a guy on drums named Brett Weir, which is really Brian Weir, but if you've heard the Jerky Boys, there's a Brett Weir skit, so everybody calls him Brett. And he was in a band called Starset. It was really originally called Downplay, and he's no longer in that band. And he happened to be friends with our producer, Dave Portman, and he kind of came down while we were tracking the record just to hang out with Dave and was like, dude, what's up with this band? I love this. And Dave's like, well, they need a drummer, so you want to be in their band? And we were like, yeah, you want to be in our band? And he's like, yeah. So done deal, right? Easy enough. And then we were looking for a bassist. We had literally just started talking about it, and Jamie sent the record to our friend Christian from Fear Factory, and now he's in the band Powerflow. And Christian's like, dude, the new record is awesome. I want to be in the band. I'll play bass. So we're like, okay, that was easy.
That's awesome. So things worked out the way it should have worked out.
You hope so. I mean, it does. I wish it would work out on the timetable that I want, but life seems to work out how it wants to work out. So, but it is working out. And then, once we had the rhythm section and we did some pictures with no makeup to see how dumb we would look, and we're like, oh, we only look 50% dumb, so right on, this is cool. And then we shopped the record for 5 or 6 months until we got a deal, and fans were like, what's up, when you put it out? And we're like, I don't know. And we got the deal, and now the press release went out last, was it Tuesday, and now here we go. The train has started, and now we start the uphill battle of finding the first tour, because it's always hard for us to find our first tour for an album. And once we get that first tour, it starts moving along. So that's where we are now. As we get everything ready for the release, we need to really get – our booking agent is working hard to get us that first tour that's going to be good.
That's awesome. Such exciting times. Now, another big question with all this stuff of newness going on. Again, going back to the Facebook postings and stories and tales, will there be a new RV to accompany you guys on tour? Hopefully, break it down.
Shit, I don't know, man. We still have the same RV, and it got so many repairs on the last tour we did that it's actually like the powertrain in it is really good, and we figured out the problems why the tires kept popping and everything, and we fixed all that. That's why we came home from that last tour completely broke, because all the money we would have had to pay ourselves went to fixing that RV. Like, it was in the shop like 5 times on that tour. It was unbelievable. But we still have it. That our one guitarist, Jamie, he actually owns it. Are we going to go out with it? I don't know. Maybe we'll rent a van or go on a van or get another RV. I'm not sure, but man, that RV, holy crap. It was a nightmare.
Oh, man. Now, something else, too, like you guys were really open about was the whole touring situation where you guys actually left that tour you were on because it was just such a miserable situation for you guys. And you guys have been pretty open about it. And I was wondering, like, did you guys ever hear any flack about that back from that other band, or?
Yeah, for sure. We got dropped from our booking agent because of that band, no doubt. Because we did not get along with that band. We shared the same booking agent, and then and they dropped us. Now, there's no hard feelings with the booking agent because he's a great guy and all that. But he had to make a business decision. But yeah, there definitely was some flack from that. And it's a shame because it came down to this on that tour, and we were pretty honest about it. We're not like a bruiser band. We might look like it, but we're really just like nice dudes that are real goofy. But when we feel like we're at the point where the only thing left to do is to fight physically, then it's time to go home. And that's where we were. We were either going to fight that band and everybody goes to the hospital, including us, or we were going to be mature adults and go home. And we decided to go home, and it was the best decision we made. We went home and then said, we sent an email to our agent, to our manager, and said, look, this is the reasons we're leaving this tour, blah, blah, blah. And everybody was like, all right, cool. It's a very mature decision. Right on, And then, of course, we got dropped by the booking agent, but life goes on. That's the way it goes,
Absolutely. There's other booking agents.
Yeah, and like I said, we're just still cool with that guy too. It's not a personal issue; it's a business issue. So, and you got to stick with the bands you've been with for years, so no problem. But yeah, that band literally showed us everything we never, ever, ever want to be, ever, ever. We never want to be like that. We never want to treat bands like that. Nothing. It was everything. It was like a lesson on this is what you don't want to be ever.
It's funny because we actually had the guy, their old singer, from that band, who's going on to do another band now. And when he called and was talking when he was putting out his album last year, he didn't have a nice thing to say about the guys either.
I know who you're talking about, and I don't know that guy personally, and I don't ever want to make an assumption or judgment on people's personal relationships, because you know how it is with everyone. Like, you'll meet 10 people, and they'll talk about the same person, and half of them will think the guy's an asshole, and half of them think the guy's great. So, right. I always try and make my judgment based off of my personal experiences with someone, because, sometimes you catch someone on a bad day, and they were a jerk. Doesn't mean they're a jerk every day. But I can say that, I don't know that person's story. I just know my experience with on that tour, and it's something I never want to do again, ever, ever, ever. And I believe the feeling is mutual.
Interesting. Yeah, that was. I know, when you guys did that show in Delaware, you guys pulled that off at the last minute, and the frustration level. I mean, you were just telling me that. I was just like, oh man, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was. Thank God for that show. That was such a fun little show that we booked in 2 days just for the hell of it, because we were there. And we're like, let's at least have some kind of fun. It literally was 30 days of hell on that tour. And when we were telling people what was going on, they were like, what? They were like, what? They're like, huh? And then we're telling other people, they're like, oh, that's just how it goes. But either way, you know what? On the same note, the shows were actually great. Their fans are great people and were great to us. So all that was well. It was really just the personal kind of relationships. And whatever, life goes on. People don't get along. At the end of the day, I still do wish everyone involved success. I just know that you can't put us in the same room as them.
Now, was it the fact that maybe they were jealous of your use of the accordion?
I highly doubt it. No, I don't think anybody's jealous of that. I think even I'm embarrassed of that. So, no, I don't think
come
so.
On.
Dude,
that shit is awesome.
Right on. Yeah. No, I love the accordion, man. The accordion is not on the new record. I'm not happy about it, but the songs didn't need it. But it will be at the live show. So it's not like we're dropping the accordion, because the accordion is a huge part of what we do. So it will get its moment in the sunshine at the live shows. And then hopefully if things progress and we get to do a fourth record, it'll definitely be on that again.
It's funny, the accordion in my younger days, growing up in Upper Darby, I grew up 3 blocks away from 69th Street. So on almost a daily schedule, me and my mother would walk up and down 69th Street. And when Later would become Sears, but as I was growing up, it was Gimbals, and we would always walk through
Right.
Gimbals on the 69th Street, and there was a guy that would sit in front of Gimbals, and he was handicapped, and he had a brown 66 Mustang. It was always parked right in front, and he was on a little chair, and he was out there playing the accordion every freaking day, 365 days a year.
I bet he could play everything.
He probably could, because he was playing all day long.
What's rad about an accordion, it's like a piano. You can play everything, the whole arrangement on the instrument. It's incredible, So it's not like a guitar, which I'm not just in guitars, because I'm all about guitars, especially nowadays where guitars are getting so dissed in the press and rock. I'm all about it. But, guitar is more of a singular instrument. You can generally do, one direct thing generally, But on a piano, on an accordion, you can play the entire arrangement of a song, and it's an incredible instrument. Now, it's not a cool instrument, though, the accordion. It's not cool at all. But, it's just something about it with me always worked. I don't know why. I have a picture of myself tattooed on my arm playing the accordion because it just works. I don't know why. And I love it. It feels good, but it's not cool. It's not a cool instrument. I'll never pretend that it is.
Dude, you know what? Like, that was my only memory of an accordion, was that guy in front of Gimbals for 40 plus years, for 45 freaking years now. And the last 2 to 3 years, my accordion memories are now you, and you've made it cool.
Yeah. You know what? I don't have any memories of an accordion because I never thought it was cool. Like, I don't know anyone that ever played it. I never saw anyone play it growing up. I remember being in Philly as a kid, I was probably like 18 or 19, and I looked at Jabu, because we both grew up there, and I said, I think I'm going to go buy an accordion. And he goes, why? I go, I have no idea, but I think I'm just going to do it. And he goes, well, that's cool. That'll probably be cool. And I remember I went to some, pawn shop in, what the hell is it? I can't even think of the town. There's a college at Weir or somewhere over there in that area. And there was this pawn shop, and I walked in, and something. And I said to the guy, I said, you got accordions? He's like, yeah, I got 2. I go, let me see them. And he showed them to me. I go, well, which one's good? He goes, I don't know. I go, what's it worth? He goes, I don't know. He goes, make an offer. I was like, I don't know, $100. He goes, yeah, take that one for $100. And I was like, cool. I brought it home, and I showed it to Jabu, and I started playing it. He goes, that's the sickest thing I've ever heard. He goes, that is amazing. How the hell are we going to use that in a rock band? I go, I don't know, but we'll figure it out one day. And we did. So.
Now, how did he get the nickname Jabu?
Well, when we moved out here, we were watching the movie Major League, the baseball movie, and there's a character named Jobu, the guy that has his praise to his little god, and so he can hit the ball.
Right.
I think he called his bat Jobu. And then one day, he was going, fuck you, Jobu, fuck you, Jobu. So I was in rehearsal with our old band back in the day, and I was going, fuck you, Jobu, to Jim, being funny. And the drummer, he goes, what did you just say? And he started laughing. He goes, you call him Jabu? And I said, we all started laughing like Jabu, like, what the hell is that? What is that? And I said, no, man. And he goes, well, I don't know what you said, but that dude's name is Jabu from now on. And we started calling him that, and then everyone in Hollywood and LA started calling him that, and that's been his name. I mean, it was like as natural as a nickname could possibly be. It was so odd, and that's what he's called.
That is fucking great.
Yeah.
Oh man! Now, I've been biting my tongue. I've been wanting to say this to you for months, and I've been wanting to message you on Facebook. Like even today, like you sent me a message this morning. Like when I do like my interviews, like I try not to talk to people because I want to throw it out here and be honest and have everything flow and be natural and all that shit. So I like my tongue. That's why, and I've been wanting to send you a message and say this for months. And I've been like, no, I'll wait. I'll wait till they come back on. So I'm going to say it now.
Right.
So, and the band Bad Wolves, like they did this cover of the Zombies thing, and it just blew up to biblical proportions. Thinking to myself,
totally.
Fucking Sunflower Dead needs to do something like this. I know you guys did the Police cover before, but I'm thinking like they need to do something like, I don't know, a Kelly Clarkson or a Britney Spears, something goofy like that.
Right.
With the accordion.
Yeah.
And
with the accordion.
Just freak people the fuck out and blow it up.
I
mean,
it's so funny. and a lot of people have been saying that. But you know what? Here's the truth about it, and I think Bad Wolves is awesome. Like, I'm so stoked for them because, you know, unfortunately what happened with Dolores from the Cranberries dying when she was supposed to track on that song with them, which would have been incredible in anyway, even though the cover they did is great. Everything kind of worked out, perfect timing for that song that just blew. It was a great cover, great song, and just blew up. So it's just lightning in a bottle, and good for them because they're now taking advantage of it, and they're kicking butt on tour. And you know, it just you basically you can't pay for what happens with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as putting the accordion in the cover, I remember when we did Every Breath You Take on the first record, everyone's like, well, should we put the accordion in? And I said, I'm not going down in history as the guy who put the accordion in Every Breath You Take, so I'm not doing it. And they were like, all right, I understand. Because I could have done it because there's keyboards in and stuff, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be that guy that ruins this song, makes it dorky with accordion. I can't do it. So, but I hear you.
That's so funny.
But cover-wise, you know, on this album, no covers purposely, and no guest spots. Well, I mean, we have the guest musicians track bass and drums, but no, like, Jonathan Davis from Korn was on our last record. There's going to be none of that. We wanted it to be 100% Sunflower Dead and what we do, and keep the focus on us. Though I would love to have a cover song blow up, but, you know, can't predict that.
Do you think, though, too, like, I mean, just by you saying that, like, no cover songs this album, like, it's almost like it's become the norm now. Like, everybody's doing one.
Yeah, I never really had that, I mean, I grew up in the time when Guns N' Roses was, like, one of their things was how badass they did their cover songs, you know? So it never bothered me. If a band can reinterpret a song, great. Like, I'm all for it, you know? If you feel it and if you have a great version of it, I think it's cool. I've always thought it was cool. That's why we did one on our first album. You know, like Five Finger does 2 or 3 covers all the time on every record, and Marilyn Manson's done a million covers. Like, I think it's a great idea. If you can do it, as long as you can do a killer version, either do it great so it makes you feel like the original, or reinterpret it like Marilyn Manson did with Sweet Dreams. If you can do that, then I think it's awesome. I don't know why people have such a problem with it. Because obviously it works every single time. You know that it's great. It's always a huge hit when it works. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah, like sometimes I'm cool with it. Sometimes I'm like, nah. As a matter of fact, it's funny because I just interviewed one of your label mates yesterday, a band called Dollskin, and they're like,
oh yeah, Dollskin. We toured with them.
Yeah, young girls. Like,
yeah. I'm
blown away. Like. By them, like as I was sitting there getting ready for the interview, like I'm watching all these interviews with them and these videos and they're like, 18, 19 years old, and I'm like, holy shit, they're more mature than me. Like, I couldn't get over how mature they were. And
they're really, really nice girls.
Yeah, and they did a cover of, and I even said that I interviewed the lead singer Sydney, and I said to her, I said, I'm listening to the album, and I'm like, I saw right away, I saw Uninvited, and I was like, oh no, another Alanis Morissette cover, like. Red Sun Rising just did it, and somebody else just did it, and I'm like, not another one. And then I heard their version. I was like, oh, they really rocked it out, and I was like, oh, and like made it heavy, and I was like, oh shit, all right, like, they sold. I was like into it. I was cool.
I didn't hear that. I love that song in general, and I didn't hear that. I'm gonna check that out tomorrow for sure. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, on.
I was really surprised, but yeah, they were really cool.
Nice. I'm definitely they're really sweet. When they put out their first record, we were on tour with Hell Yeah, and they were on tour. They did like 4 or 5 shows with us, and they were real little, like 16, 17. They were young, and they were super funny little punk rock girls, and they were great. We loved them. They were really nice, great band doing their thing, and I mean, they're killer.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, as a matter of fact, they left. What did I interview? Was it yesterday or Tuesday? I forget. But they were leaving. I guess it was Tuesday. I interviewed them, and they were leaving yesterday for the Warped Tour.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Warped Tour's getting going this weekend. Yep.
Yeah. Crazy. So now we got to get you guys on the tour. Get you guys back here to Philly so we can eat some good food.
Yeah, no shit. I need some good food. I am hungry. I'm always hungry though. Like, that's my thing, man. I don't even make any bones about it. Like, I tell people, if you want to come to the show and you want to bring me food, it is all good. So I'll tell you what, I got so many pizzas and like barbecue on the last album cycle. Like, it was starting to get a little ridiculous. Like, I didn't know where to put all the stuff. Like, people were showing up with like full meals for everyone, and we're like, this is great. But then we're like, damn, we can't really store all that food when we leave, you know. So we're giving it to the other bands and stuff. But yeah, just give me food. To hell with the other band members in my crew. Just bring me a cheesesteak, pizza, fried chicken. It's all good for when I'm done singing. Please.
Oh, that's so awesome. That is so awesome. And I probably asked you this last time we talked and did an interview, but is it gravy or sauce?
You know, I grew up with both. So my mom calls it sauce, right? Even though her parents, you know, lived in South Philly, but all my friends in South Philly call it gravy. So, you know, I generally call it sauce, but for tomatoes. But, you know, I know that there's that line in the sand of gravy or sauce. I don't give a damn as long as it's good.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, being the fact that you're West Coast now, it is it's definitely sauce for you. Everybody on the West Coast, it's sauce.
Oh yeah, well, you know, and you're not getting a lot of good sauce. I'll tell you, whenever I come home for the holidays or we're on tour, I mean, and if my girlfriend's with me, you know, I take her to places, and she's like, yeah, you're right, the food on the East Coast, and especially in the Philly area, it's just better. And I was like, you can't explain it. It just, like, the band was on tour. I don't know. I think we were on tour with Avatar, and we went to my parents' house for dinner, and then after we ate, the guys were making sandwiches, and they're like, I don't get it. Even the lunch meat here and the bread is just better. I was like, I was telling you guys. I wasn't lying. I wasn't trying to be mean to California. I was like, the food is just better in the Philadelphia area. I don't know why, but it's just better.
Good old Dietz and Watson.
Yeah, what are you going to do? You know, it's awesome.
Oh, too funny. So, all right. So we have to wait till October 19th is the official release date. When will first we'll be hitting the airs and stuff like that? In the middle of July, our next press release is coming out, and I believe it's going to have like the track listing and the album cover, and it's going to have like samples of a couple of the songs or all the songs or something like that. And then, so that'll be cool. Everyone's going to get that. And then I believe after that, a couple weeks later, the first, like, I don't know if the first single's coming out, but a full song is coming out. I think we might leave with something a little heavier. And we're shooting a video at the end of July to come out for whatever that first song is, whether it is the single or not, we'll decide. But we're going to do a video for that, and then that's going to come out. So it's going to be pretty steady from here on out. And then when we get a tour book, we'll have that information. And then if we do go to radio, which we want to go to radio after we rob a bank to pay to go to radio, you know, that will, then that'll happen and touring. So but it is moving now finally. So it'll be a steady stream of information and songs and stuff that we have going on. Because we're at the tail end of just getting everything ready. You know, that's why that press release finally came out, because it took a lot of work. And like every decision is literally like a band decision, and we sit down with our management and fight over, not with the management, but as a band, we fight like we want to do this, we want to do that. It should be this, should be that. This song should go first on the record. Now this song, and we sit there and fight like little kids until we find like a compromise. The record cover should be black. The record cover should be white. I'm like, I don't care if it's purple as long as it's got the songs I want on. You know, but because it's not a one person band. It's like it's a group, and everybody has to be somewhat happy with everything. So it takes us a minute to get everything going, but we always end up deciding, and then we get it there. And I know the next hurdle is we literally have to decide on the final track listing for the record by Wednesday, because that's when we're getting the record mastered. So I guess it would be nice to know which songs are going on the mastered version. How, I mean, just hearing all this stuff, how different has it been for you guys, being the fact that it is a label now, and it's not just you guys in control? Well, with EMP is they really are at the point with their growth that they enjoy the DIY bands like us that have built it up and done it all themselves. So instead of them coming along and saying, okay, this is what you're going to do, they were more like, okay,
what do you guys want to do? And then when we have the conversations, we're like, okay, we could do this, we can do that, but let's curtail this, let's do that this way. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
Right.
it was a lot of advice and a lot of, okay, so if we go that route, then we're going to want to work with these people and all that stuff. So it's more like they're working in tandem with us, because everything, they're copied on all the emails, and then they give their advice. And then I know, like, there's some bands on their label that they, David Ellefson has always said, well, let's pair up Sunflower Dead with them and do like a little EMP kind of tour, so maybe that will happen, things like that. So they're just kind of like, it's just really cool. It's not like, okay, this is the first single, this is how you're going to do it. So if they had an idea like that and they were dead set on it, we would definitely listen, because we're always down to listen to anyone's opinion, because you never know who's going to have that right idea that's really going to set it off. Because sometimes that all it is, that one person coming in saying, if you guys just smile this way, boom, it works. So we're always open to that. That's why we fight about everything as a band, because we're always like, so what do you think? What do you think? And then someone will think something. We'll be like, no, you're an idiot. I think this. And then we fight about it like little kids.
You know what? Like, he's actually very quiet, but I do have my co-host there, Nick, and he just sent me an instant message. He said, these guys use an accordion too in their metal. Finster Force? Who the fuck is this, Nick?
Who? Their name is, if I'm saying it right, it's Finster Force. They look to be sort of Norwegian based, but they use it. They use the accordion pretty hardcore in that.
And what is it?
There's another band from Europe that uses the accordion, but they're like a metal folk band. Like they do like folky metal stuff. So it actually almost makes more sense with them,
Yeah,
but I haven't heard of this other band. Yeah, right on, use the accordion. There was a girl out here in LA that the band was called Stolen Babies, and they toured around. In fact, their drummer is now a Marilyn Manson, but she used the accordion too. So there's people that use it, there's a bunch of weirdos that use it. I don't know. I don't know why. It's big and heavy and clunky and stuff, but.
Oh, it's too funny. Cool. Now, are you guys going to do any more like one-off shows? Like, you guys did your first official show with the new image and lineup and all last month. Any other?
Yeah, that
shows?
was basically a test to see how much we would suck, and it was pretty good. It was like, all right on. We were rehearsing, going, oh my god, and then we got on stage. We're like, oh, this is cool, because you don't know like how it's going to come across playing the old songs. We played some new songs. There's no makeup. I didn't even know how I was really going to perform. I was like, well, how am I going to be? And then when I walked on stage, I just was myself, because you just don't think about it. And it was Sunflower Dead without makeup, and an even tighter band. So it was cool. I would assume we might do another one-off, but it all comes down to when the touring starts, and we're hoping to be on tour by mid-September at the latest, to really start promoting this record. So we should know something soon.
Cool. Very cool. Well, dude, like I'm so freaking stoked for you guys. So happy for you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Now, if you could give me, $1 million to go with it, life would be really good.
Dude, if I could make $500,000, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
If I can leave the
too.
freaking car business finally and just do this, I'd be happy.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's like we work from the road when we're touring. Jabu owns a company, so we're touring and we're playing and we're hustling. So it's like you just got to do what you got to do these days if you to do your art. It is what it is.
Dude, and you know what? So many bands are doing that same thing, and it blows my mind. It's like, holy shit! Like you can't even
labels don't have those advances to give bands to live off of, and it's hard to get a good paying tour when you're an up and coming band. Of course, there's a lot of opportunities if you want to buy onto a big tour, but then you're a buy-on band, so it's like, which is fine. Everybody has to do it at some point. We did it when we started, but it's a hard racket. So, like I said, it's always an uphill battle. It's like, man, when you get a victory, you got to enjoy it, because as soon as you think, all right, cool, you're cool, something's gonna piss you off, and you're like, God damn it, again, I'm mad. I'm mad again. And you're like, all right, but you just keep working and working. You get another victory. You enjoy it because you're going to be pissed off within the next day or two. It's just how it goes. At least that's how it is for me. So
he's mad again, and Facebook will get to know it.
Facebook. You know what? If I really wrote like really an uncensored version of what's in my head about things, it would be, my Facebook would be so damn interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have any friends, but you guys would love it if I really, really wrote what I really felt. Like I kind of do sometimes, but I'm kind of like, you know, I can't really write certain things because you'd be like, wow, you would laugh your ass off, but you know, I wouldn't have many followers left. Maybe, you know, maybe I'd have,
you probably have more
followers then.
Yeah, you would probably have more. Absolutely.
Nobody would be my friend, but they all would love it.
Exactly. And all the people that, like, your family and your friends, they would be like, all right, he's like lost his mind, and like delete.
He's lost his shit. Everybody loses their shit sometimes, but you know, we all have that friend that writes a little too much, and I'll joke around a lot too. Like I like to piss off my band members, so I'll write stuff that's meaningless, and then like Jabu will get a call from a bunch of people like, "What did Mike mean? What are you doing? You guys done? Did he really sell the accordion?" And he looks at me and asks, he's like, "You're such an asshole, dude." He's like, "You're always messing with people." I was like, "I got to do something."
Hey, but at least, you know, people are looking. People are singing it.
Yeah, they're paying attention because I've gotten emails from people about how mad they are about certain things. Or I get messages from other band members like, so-and-so is mad at you. And I'm like, well, I don't care. Tell them to stop looking at my page. In fact, what's funny, let me tell you a funny story that I really shouldn't say. When we were on tour with that band, the last tour for our second record, the band, they had 2 members in the band that were stalking my Facebook page. And anything I wrote, whether it had to deal with me with eating a tasty cake or me with being mad, they were like, they had back reporting it to their people, and then I was getting sit down. I was like, why did you write this and that? And I'm like, what the hell does it have to do with you if I'm mad about, like, where my cat shit? Like, what does that have – anything? But they were, like, stalking me. I was like, this is unbelievable.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was insane. Like, and again, if I wrote half the things that I wanted to, then we wouldn't have just gotten dropped from our booking agent. We've been in blackball, but I didn't, you know. But it's because you got to be mature at some point. So,
at some point.
At some point. You got to draw the line somewhere. Yeah. So they say. Yeah. So they say.
Oh man, dude, this has been awesome. Again, I'm so happy for you guys. I can't wait for the official release and stuff. And yeah, let's blow this shit up, man.
Yeah, man, we'll be back in Philly. I you know, we'll get those tour dates, and we'll hang out.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, dude. Like, let's go hang out, have some food.
Yeah,
it's all about the food.
I'm in. Food, I'm in.
I'll twist your arm. Yeah.
Cool, man.
All right, well, you know what? I'm gonna play. It's Time to Get Weird for everybody. Give everybody a little,
awesome.
You know, flashback to a few years ago, and Mr. Jonathan Davis joining you guys.
I will say this about that record. Since we've never actually gone to retail with our music, we've only sold it at our shows and online and, you know, digital, all that. EMP wants to release the Weird record into stores with our new record. So I think we're going to put it out, and the Weird record, and it's going to come out on vinyl too. So there'll be like a limited vinyl version of like 300 to 400 copies in stores sometime this year of the Weird record. So that's like an added perk of working with EMP. So it's something we're talking about.
Hey, I want to say this too. Like, you know, when I got my Sunflower Dead shirt when you guys were here in Delaware, you guys have good merch that is kind to fat guys, because that shirt, even after many washes, has still fit me, and I feel I don't have, you know, I do my fat guy stretch at my shirt every morning, and it fits perfect after many washes, and it makes me very happy.
You know what? That has nothing to do with me. That is literally our guitar player, Jamie. He is all about making sure we have good quality shirts to sell for merch. Like, it's one of his things. He's like, we got to get good quality shirts. They got to be good material so they don't shrink and still look good. Like, that's one of his like OCD things. And it's like, you know what? It's glad that I just heard that, because I'm just like, I don't give a damn what kind of shirt it is. But he's all about good quality stuff, and I'm glad that he was right about that. So we'll continue down that path. We're putting out good merch.
and how about, like, going back to that today album cover? It's Time to Get Weird. You know, you guys did the takeoff on Kiss Rock and Roll Over. Did you see Anthrax, they put their new live album out, Kings Among Scotland, and for it's more of a ripoff, I think, of what you guys did than how you know what I mean? Like it looks almost like closer to yours than it does to actually Kiss's.
I've seen about, and we can't take credit for that cover because it literally was an homage or a ripoff of Rock and Roll Over. But since that's come out, I've seen about 3 bands copy that, but more our version, and I laughed. And our version was a joke because originally that wasn't our album cover. That was a joke that happened because when we were touring the first album, Jabu said, he's like, hey, let's do like a mock version of the Rock and Roll Over cover like Kiss, just for fun as like a flyer or something. And then when the artist who did our second album cover, he submitted a couple things, and we were all like, I don't know. And he's like, I don't like what I've done either. But he goes, but I have this other idea. He goes, I'm not going to tell you, I'm just going to do it. And doesn't he send us the Rock and Roll Over cover of Sunflower Dead? And we were like, are you kidding me? We're like this obviously is meant to be, and we loved it. He did a great version of it, and we couldn't believe it. Like, we didn't even ask for that. He just did it. And we were like, well, we'll just go with it. And then our manager was meeting with Doc McGee, who manages Kiss, and he goes, and obviously it was already out in the press, and he goes, I'm just waiting for Doc to look at me across the table and say, like, hey, what's up with you guys ripping off my band's album cover? But he never did, so it's all good.
Gene didn't submit a royalty check request from you guys.
I know. I think we would have had to get a little bigger on that record for that to happen. Then we would have, bands have actually done it before. There's been punk bands and other bands. So, I don't think you can copyright an homage to an album. You know what I'm saying? Obviously it's a little different, but, we weren't shy about it. We totally said where it came from and who we were paying tribute to. So I don't think anybody got butthurt over it. And since we didn't really make a lot of money, it's not like he was going to get any money from us.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have enough.
Yeah. Well, hey, good for him. He's earned it. I love Kiss, and right on. Good for them.
Cool. Well, Mike, again, thanks, man. And let's play this. Let's play It's Time to Get Weird. And once the album gets officially released, come back and and you come to Philly, help me out.
Yep, sounds good, my friend.
Absolutely. Dude, take care, man. Tell everybody I was asking for him.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Yep. Talk soon.
Later. Yep, later.
Everybody, there he goes. Mike from Sunflower Dead, and here they are. It's Time to Get Weird.